So Gideon has accepted his calling of becoming a judge in Israel. Little Gideon. And his father's defended him. And so he's got a new nickname. His father said, are you going to contend with Baal? Or is Baal not going to do his own work? So Gideon gets called Jerubbaal. He contended against Baal. His reputation has started to grow. So the Midianites and the Amalekites, their mighty army is gathered to sort out this disturbance in Ophrah. Gideon is now starting to look at the next stage. And maybe he's a bit nervous, or just maybe there's a bit of humour in his relationship with God. So he says to God, if indeed you want me to defeat, if I'm going to be the one who defeats the Israelites, then just give me a sign. And notice Gideon is not questioning whether God is God. He's not questioning his character. He's questioning his will. He's exploring the way ahead. And that's an issue that this story helps us with guidance. But Gideon is already on the move. He has already come into a contract with God. It's already stuff that Gideon is destined to do, and it's on that basis that he asks for guidance. He's not in his armchair saying, I wonder what God wants me to do. He's on the road. He's in pursuit. So he needs this advice and reassurance. And I think, again, there's a bit of humour here. So he says, look, I've got a sheep's fleece here. I'm going to leave it out overnight on the threshing floor. If in the morning it's soaking and the ground is dry, I'll know you're with me. Gets up in the morning and it is as he expected. Weird, but there it is. Fleece is wet, ground is dry. Oh dear. God is in this with me. But hang on, I'll just ask for a second sign, confirmation. So he says to God, all right, thank you. Really appreciate that, but just to be absolutely sure, let's do it the other way around. Let's have the ground wet and the fleece dry. So next morning he gets up. Don't know whether he got up early or whether he waited and snoozed and then had a look. Yeah, it's the other way around. God is with him. So he assembles his army of 32,000. And God says, taps him on the shoulder. Hang on, Gideon. Hang on, Jerubbaal, you who contended with Baal. There's a danger here that you'll win and you'll think you did it in your own strength. So I want to reduce the size of your army. Okay? So Gideon is asked under instructions, anybody who's not 100% for this, bit nervous, it's all right, you can go home. 22,000 say, okay, then we'll leave it to the rest of you. So of the 32,000, 10,000 are left. Well, that's still a pretty good number. Another tap on the shoulder. Sorry, Gideon, still too many. Tell you what, they're all thirsty. Go down to the river. Watch them drink. And they drink in different ways from the river. Of those 10,000, 300 sort of use their hand and scoop up the water. God says, those 300, they'll do. They're the ones. Just 300 left. So how's Gideon feeling now? Well, God is kind to him. But he's still up for it. He says, Gideon, if you want a bit of reassurance, just sneak down to the camp. Sneaks down to the camp. And he finds, he overhears them talking. They're so afraid. Gideon's reputation is massive. They're having dreams and worries, and they've got pictures of it's all going to be disaster. There's no courage in this army whatsoever. So, the next day or whenever, they go down, smash jugs, make a lot of noise, and they're on the run. Gideon then calls in 3 of the other tribes to help out, tidy up, clear up the battle. But it's a fantastic victory. And interesting how his brothers react. Ephraim comes and says, "Hey, why didn't you let us join the party? This is not right, this." So to do that, he's becoming a statesman. Gideon says, "Oh yes, but we just couldn't have done it. You've done so much other stuff for Israel, that's okay." So they go away, conscience appeased, and feeling their ego has been gently massaged. So Gideon is God's instrument. It was a risky business, but the fact he kept faith with God pulled him through, and God was glorified in the end. He did do a final little trip up though. The tribes of Israel came and said, "Gideon, you're a smashing fella. How do you fancy being king? Rule over us." Gideon says, "No, I'm not going to do it, nor my family." He knows that, I suppose, that's not what God is calling him to. So nice though it would be. Though he does, in the end, relent to taking a tribute. He asks for all these gold earrings to be given to him. So he kind of, gets all these earrings, and he makes something called an ephod. So I guess it's some kind of statue, tribute, some kind of memorial to Gideon's victory. And in his hometown, he puts it up so people can see it and can share it. What happens? They worship it. It becomes says in the scriptures, it becomes a snare to Gideon. So it's just something that takes the shine off the fact that it was God's glory, God's credit. But he ends his days, having established many years of peace for Israel. And during his time, there's that wonderful legacy that they fulfill who they're supposed to be. It ain't gonna last.